Hey, what's up guys? This is Alex from Appray.io, and in this video I'm going to cover all of the features the Appray.io Visual App Builder offers. I will first demonstrate how to create a brand new app, and then make a general overview of all the options available to help users who have minimum coding experience get started with building their own mobile application. So when you've just signed up for Appray.io, you will be first landed on this page, Account. To start building your first app, click the Apps tab. Right now, you do not have any apps or plugins created under your account, so we'll see the starting page looking like this, with the empty list on the left. You will only see the links to our Getting Started tutorials, documentation, and our featured videos. Only after at least one project is created under your account, the left panel will show the list of your apps with the labels indicating the framework the application was built with. Well, it looks like it's high time we tried creating our first mobile application. Actually, creating a brand new app is very simple. Just click the green Create New App button to open the modal window offering to select from several options: Ionic 4, Ionic 5, jQuery Mobile, My Templates, and from Backup. The first three tabs offer the selection between three popular frameworks templates that are currently supported by Appray.io. The My Templates tab will show your projects that have been previously published as project templates. You can also choose to create an app from a backup. In this case, you need to switch to the From Backup tab and select the project backup file. Every Appray.io app can be exported as a backup and saved locally, so you're always free to use this option if you need to bring it back by selecting the backup file and recreating it under your account. Right now, we are going to create a brand new app, and today we'll be using the Ionic 5 framework for that. So let's select the Ionic 5 option, then click Ionic 5 blank, enter the app name, for example Ionic 5 Hello World, and click Create. In a few moments, the Visual App Builder will load. What you see right now is the default start page that includes information about the most recent videos, latest enhancement to Appray.io, steps for building apps, and links to the different sections for Appray.io references. This page consists of three main parts: Toolbar, Project View, and Project tabs. Those will be the pages created under this project. Now there is only an empty start page. Let's first review the Project tabs, or Pages view, in more detail. Although there is only the default start page shown right now, you can easily create more pages if you need. To create another app page, click the Create New button in the project view and select Page from the drop-down. In the New window, provide the name for the page, for example, My New Page, and confirm. You will see that a new page named My New Page was instantly created under the Pages folder and listed next to the two pages created by default, App and Screen 1. The app page is the container of the highest level and is the construction element that manages the general app behavior. For example, add a split pane or a side menu to your app. But the other pages, sometimes called screens, like Screen 1 or My New Page, are used as the main container for other UI components that can be added for the app, and in its turn consist of three more Ionic components: header, footer, and content. We will show how to define such pages a bit later. Actually, not only pages, but also all the other app resources like services, scripts, and others can be created by clicking Create New, and then selecting what project item or even out-of-the-box example app needs to be created. For example, if you click From Plugin, you will be offered to add out-of-the-box example apps that already provide some complete functionality. This is really handy and time-saving, and our team regularly releases new plugins. If you, for example, select the autocomplete option and confirm adding it to your app, you will see that a new page, autocomplete, has been automatically added to the page folder, and a new script, States Dictionary, has appeared under the TypeScript folder. It means that the working autocomplete functionality was added to your project, and it was done in the twinkling of an eye. Also, the added autocomplete page has appeared on the routes list of the Routing tab and can be set as the default to first open when the app starts. Note that as you open any page, service, file, etc. from the project view, a new tab with this resource opens in the Project tab area. Let's select the autocomplete page to see what's inside. If you now click any item on the screen, you will be able to edit it to customize the way it looks and behaves in the app. Note that you can of course select each element on the page to be able to edit it, but another way to navigate the components is to use the breadcrumbs over here on top of the view. And this is very handy because if you, for example, need to select the root of the page, you can simply click Page over here, and this will automatically select the page and open its properties. This way you can make sure you're working with the right element. Alright, let's move on to the high-level architecture of the project view, Pages tabs. All of them have 5 main constructor panels by default: Design to build the UI, Data to add services, Code to add functions and variables, Modal to work with app imports, and SCSS to apply SCSS styles to the app. They are all used to change the behavior or the appearance of the selected page. As an example, let's see how adding SCSS styles works. Select the Screen 1 page, and on its tab, paste any custom SCSS code, for example, this one. Then click the Test button and allow some time to load the preview for the first time. Now you can see that it looks rather fancy. If you go back to the SCSS tab and replace the existing piece of code with a different one, for example, this one, you will be able to see that a new style was applied to the page after you click Test again. Now let's go back to the tab with the App Builder and select my new page to inspect all the panels it has. Its Design panel is the primary tool. We will use it to create the app UI. This panel has the following views: Components palette, Properties panel on the right used to edit properties of the page or its components, Events tab in the bottom of the page, and Mobile frame, where you can visualize how the whole thing is going to look like on your device while you're building the app UI. The Components palette allows access to the different UI components that can be dragged and dropped to the mobile frame to configure the app UI. To be more specific, those are the well-balanced combination of the Apri.io components, AngularJS and Ionic components, HTML components, including HTML for writing custom code, and the Google Maps components. Every UI component you drag and drop will have specific properties listed here in the Properties panel on the right. To show the Outline tab with the Elements tree where all the added components can be viewed and/or edited, click the corresponding button in the bottom left corner of the working area and select the needed component. It will be also shown in the breadcrumbs on top, and this particular component's properties will become accessible for adding it on the Properties tab. Besides, selecting and deleting components can be done by clicking on the component on the outline list. To expand, collapse the list sub-items, use the triangle icon next to the item name. So let's, for example, select the header, and in the Properties tab, change the text property to Welcome Ionic 5. You will see that this change is instantly reflected on the page. Now, locate the card component and drag and drop it inside the mobile frame area. Click the card item title, and in the Properties tab, change its title text property to Hello World. Then, select the card item and change its text property to Message. We can play around a bit more by customizing any component. For example, drag a button to the Toolbars button area and clear the button text property. Then, assign the icon of some specific style to this button under Properties, expand the icon folder, and click the No Icon button to open the modal window where you can select the needed icon style. Every component has different properties available, but all of them can be customized according to your needs. And that's how you do it. Also, Apri.io provides a standard set of tools to copy, paste, clone, and remove UI components. All of these actions can be easily accessed through the context menu. While editing your UI, you might also need to make more room for the mobile frame, so you can hide the Components palette by clicking the Palette tab. Also, there's some more controls over the mobile frame. They not only allow using breadcrumbs for easy navigation between the parent and child components, but also provide instruments for changing layout, portrait or landscape, and scaling or selecting the screen size and view mode, MD or iOS. To compact the items on the palette, which can be handy for working on a smaller monitor, you can click the button on top of it. To go back to the expanded mode, unclick this button. You can add as many components to the page as needed, and after it's done, you can also check how it looks to see if there are any improvements you would like to make. Let's experiment a bit and do it right now to see if it's okay with our current UI. Click Test to open the app in the new window. It looks unchanged and just has the most recent style we applied to Screen 1 page, and you cannot see the UI we have just created. And this is expected, as we are now using a different start page for our project, Screen 1. To change the default start page, go back to the tab with the editor, unfold the project folder, and click Routing. In the New tab, set the default route to My New Page. Go to the toolbar, click Save, and then test once again to refresh the preview, and this time it looks correct. However, if you click any of the elements on the screen, nothing will happen. So let's add some very simple logic to our app to make it a bit more interactive. Go back to the app with the editor, select My New Page, and switch to its code panel, which is used to add and define app includes, variables, and functions. There are 3 corresponding tabs, includes, variables, functions, where all of these can be defined, but it is a good practice to use the split tab to take control of all of them in one place. If the page has many items, it can be handy to switch from stack to the side view. This way you will not need to scroll the page down to see all available elements. But we will now need to create only one variable. Select the Variables tab and enter a new variable called Message and click the Add button. Its type should be string, the default value. Now go to the Page Design panel and unfold the Events tab from the bottom. It is used for adding the events and interactions to UI components and/or services and can be found in the bottom of the design and data panels correspondingly. So, for the card item 1 component, select the click event from the dropdown, then select the set variable action and set the message variable that has been just created. For its value, insert Meet My First Ionic 5 app and click Save. Lastly, click the Save button in the toolbar. You need to know as well that if you once need to add a very popular and often used event, Run TypeScript, this can be made easy by using our ready-to-go code snippets, for example, Navigate to Page. Note that after the event is added to the page, it instantly gets listed and can be edited or deleted. You just need to select the corresponding button. We will not need this functionality in our app right now, so let's delete this event. There's also a trick. If you do not want to lose sight of the Events tab, but need more working area, you can adjust its height by dragging its margin. Good. The next step is testing our first Ionic 5 app. All you need to do is simply click the Test button once again in the top toolbar. The browser will quickly launch the app that you have just completed, and you will see that a click on the Hello World button opens the greeting text. It was as easy as ABC, wasn't it? Now let's go back to the app builder and review the other panels we have over there. Let's create a new REST service and add it to the Screen 1 page. Open the Data panel, which is used to create and define app services or data sources and allows selecting from REST, Generic, and Settings, REST settings. Click Add to add this REST service to the page, and then expand the Events panel to get access to defining the events in a way similar to how it is done from under the Design panel. Now you also can add mappings, or add the define actions for the selected service by clicking the arrow button next to the needed event. When building a mobile web app, almost everything that happens in your app is based on events. For example, clicking a button is a click event, and based on this event, you can navigate to another page or invoke some TypeScript, among many other options. However, right now, in our basic Hello World app, we will not use any services, but most applications use them to define the needed app behavior. In our next videos, we will provide you with more instructions on how to add, map, and define different services to your app. The next goes the Modal panel, where native APIs from Ionic can be defined to allow simple integrations with adding native device functionality. This will also be covered in one of our next video tutorials. The last, SCSS Panel, is the style code editor that is equipped with the gear icon that opens the code editor color scheme settings and the out of format code button. Now let's have a closer look at the App Builder toolbar located over the Project tab. It has the following buttons. Close. Use it to close the project and open the Apps tab. If you have any changes made to the project, you will be prompted to save them. Save. Don't forget to click this while editing the project. Export. Click this button to select the file type you need for exporting the project to another platform or package it as an Appray.io plugin. Test. We have already used it to test our app right in the desktop web browser, but you might also need to edit testing settings, so click the arrow icon. There are a couple of the options here. There's a link that will launch it in the mobile frame. This one will launch it without the mobile frame, and this QR code is very handy if you want to launch the app on your device so you can scan this code. Check public if you want to share the app with the other people and copy the link. The links located to the right of the toolbar redirect to the following platform backend tabs: Database, Push, Server Code, API Express. If you click any of them, any tab with the corresponding backend tab will open in a new window. It is very useful as you can start working with your databases, pushes, scripts, or API Express projects and connections without closing the project. If you're working in a team, you might need to check who is working with the project at the moment, so click the Active Users icon. This Notifications icon informs about the other users working with the project or other system events. Click the Three Lines button called Additional Menu to go back to the Start page, or open Docs or Media Manager. From here you can also access the Editor settings. These are the color scheme settings on the All Apps tab. But if you need to activate or deactivate confirmations for several actions, or change the code editor settings for the current application, switch to the App tab. There's also the Close All Tabs button and the link to the What's New Help Center. Alright, that's it for the toolbar. Now let's take a closer look at the project view over here. The project view has the Create New button and two tabs, Project and Source. The Project tab on the left includes the menu of the main project parts. Note that the triangle sign before the menu item shows that the item has a list of objects. Click the icon or the menu line to open this list. The Project tab menu can consist of the following items: Project folder, here you can find the app settings, model and storage, and routing. A click on the needed one will open a new tab. Let's review the app settings first. These are the various settings for the app. General app settings, resources, where you can see the JS libraries and other built-in resources that are currently set for this app. And there are settings for Android binary, permissions, and features. Also here are the iOS binary and keys, as well as other project app settings that can be configured for your app. Model and storage. This is for defining the app model, and it will be covered later. Then, storage, which is used to define storage variables that are actually local storage variables as the app runs in the browser. The routing tab is where routing or navigation for the app can be set, and we already had a chance to check how it works. The next is the folder with pages, screens, and we already have some listed here. Any project must have some pages, even if you have just created a new project. While building an app, you may create new pages, as many as you need, and those will appear on this list in alphabetical order. Next, you can see the theme folder with a predefined SCSS file with Ionic variables and theming. You're also free to change custom themes that will appear on the list and that can be applied to your app. Services. It is almost impossible to create an app without using services. I said almost as we have just done it. All the services you create appear on this list, and you can then rename, duplicate, and delete any service listed here. TypeScript. Using TypeScript makes building your app easier. When you create a JavaScript file, it appears on this list. Any TypeScript file can be renamed, duplicated, and removed. Custom components. You can add and then edit any of the custom components via this list. You can rename and remove any custom component. Note that all the tabs with code, SCSS, TypeScript, source code, etc. typically have the gear icon that opens Visual Editor environment settings, the Out of Format Code button used to make your code more readable, and the Screen Mode button to switch between full screen and the compact mode. When you hover the mouse over the item, two more icons become available. The gear icon that appears for a menu item shows that it can be renamed, deleted, or duplicated. The X sign that appears for a menu item shows that the item can be deleted. Right now we have some resources added just for experimenting and which are not used in the project, so we can delete them one by one without breaking the app. Now the project tab tree looks well-rounded and we can click Save to save the changes and then make sure if everything is okay by clicking Test once again. Now let's click the Source tab on the right. This will open the source view that will allow you to access the source code of your app. You can see the folders that contain platform-specific resources, Cordova and Ionic. By adding in these resources, you can influence the results of code generation. Here it is important that you understand that adding in the sources directly is only meant in situations where some app or page customization is needed, which cannot be achieved with using the visual tools. To perform a needed action, hover the mouse over the needed item, file, or folder and click the gear icon. In the source view, you can work with the source files performing the following actions: rename, duplicate, move, or delete. Just click the gear icon, select the needed option, and then confirm the action. Similarly, you are free to work with the source folders. Using the menu here, you can perform the needed actions on the selected subdirectories. Create, refresh, rename, move or delete new resources, search or upload files, select all or only changed files in the root folder, and undo changes if you need to roll back the changes you made to the sources. Well, that was an introductory video featuring our app builder and covering its basics, but we hope it was useful and answered some of the questions about our visual editor. If you still have any questions or doubts, you're free to ask in the comments section below or contact us via email. Just click on the Get Help link at the top of the platform dashboard. We also have many more videos on our YouTube channel covering more specific features and explaining how to add different functionality to your app. Besides, even more introductory tutorials are coming soon, so we encourage you to subscribe to our channel to discover more great options in building mobile apps of your dreams with Appri.io. Thank you for watching and happy developing!